You're listening to the Travis Makes Money podcast presented by GoHighLevel.com. For a free 30-day trial of the best all-in-one digital marketing software tool on the planet, just go to GoHighLevel.com/Travis. What's going on, money makers? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Money podcast, where it is our mission to help you make more money. If you're new to the show, we release brand new conversations with unconventional money makers every single day of the week. So if you haven't yet, please be sure to go subscribe, follow the show so you never miss out on an opportunity to learn how to make more money. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about high performance with my new friend, Roy Red. Roy is a powerhouse in performance coaching, business growth, and transformational speaking. As a six-time #1 bestselling author and internationally acclaimed speaker, Roy has shared stages with luminaries such as Vice President Kamala Harris and Arnold Schwarzenegger. His magnetic presence and game-changing insights inspire audiences to take immediate, impactful action. Roy, what's up, dude? Welcome to the show.
What up, Travis? Thank you for having me. I'm on with a staple in the game. I'm super excited, man, and hope I could just bring some value to make people go, wow, I can do that right now and make some money.
That's it, dude. That's the name of the game. That's all we're trying to do. Let's go back in time and talk about your first dollar ever, and we'll bring everybody up to speed on what you've been doing since then.
Well, I was a paramedic by trade, and then I went to this seminar. And at the seminar, there was all these millionaires and billionaires, guys who are doing big things. And they were asking me what businesses that I was in. And I was like, I don't have a business. So I just made one up. And I told them I taught CPR to healthcare providers. And then after I left that seminar, that became my actual business because I was like, I have these people. It's easy lead generation. They need CPR every year, every 2 years. So I created a CPR business called Red Zone CPR. And it was super easy, man. Someone was walking through the hallway and said, "Hey, Roy, I heard you teach CPR, BLS. I need mine's done." And I said, "Yeah." And they were like, "Well, do I have to take a class?" And I was like, interesting. Because I remember my mentor telling me about a unique selling proposition. And one of those unique selling propositions is speed. So I said, what if I can position myself as the go-to CPR instructor for healthcare providers, but with speed? Because they do this all the time. They didn't want to be in a class all the time. And he gave me $65 and I got him in and out. And that built my first six-figure business, man.
That's awesome, dude. I just love the idea of people following the idea with action, regardless of what that action is, what it means, where it takes you. Just taking some action toward the desired end because you have no idea if this thing is going to lead to anything. But if I can guarantee you, it's not going to lead to anything if you just keep sitting on your hands. So the fact that you just got up, got out, and went to an event that you had no business being at, and like literally no business when you showed up to, and then while you're there, you're just like, yeah, I do this thing, and then people are like, okay, cool, how much is it? And you're like, I don't know, it was $65, and somebody paid you money, and it's like, well, that's all you really need, man. That just the idea, a little bit of action, and then the first dollar that somebody's willing to pay you for doing something like that is just kind of an unlock. You go like, whoa, that's possible. This is crazy. And then you got to form a really cool business from there. I got to ask you this. How many times have you watched the scene in The Office with the CPR training scene in The Office?
May
Does that
maybe
scene get sent to you all the time?
maybe no, not only does it get sent to me, but my first like 5 years, I showed that video in the beginning of classes for people who
Yes.
didn't know CPR, and it just loosened them up and they will laugh at it, but maybe 8,000
I
times
was just saying,
minimum.
you have it memorized at this point. I feel like I haven't memorized just because I'm a big Office fan. But yeah, I feel
uh,
like anybody in that field has probably seen that probably thousands and thousands of times. But you're
Classic.
right. It's a classic. It's such a great icebreaker for people that are just sitting in class and wondering what to expect, and then they get to watch The Office at first. It's a great move, bro. So
Yeah.
nice work.
Yeah.
So what was next? How did you turn $65 into a six-figure business?
So at that same well, for this business, it was just easy. I thought I knew business because I was just getting so many leads, so many sales, but really my leads were at work because I was a paramedic, right? I knew so many people in the health field. And then I wanted to write a book. I didn't know why I wanted to write a book. I was just like, "Ooh, I love Jim Rohn. He helped, change my mindset." So I was like, "Let me write a success book." And I just didn't feel like I could do it till I made that six figures, which was extremely easy. I know you guys got to learn lead gen, you got to learn how to convert leads, you got to learn all that stuff. I didn't have to learn that with that business because my lead gen was there. And they just come to this day, I just get texts all day like, hey, need BLS, which is basic life support. And it just builds and builds. And I got lucky with that business and being in healthcare. Um, and after I wrote that book, a NBA skills trainer got a hold of it and said, "Hey, does this stuff work on athletes? Because I have this athlete who needs some help with his mindset." And I'm like, I didn't know if it worked. I was like, sure, if it works with regular people, I guess it works with athletes. And his name was Casey Truake, who is the trainer for NBA players like Peyton Pritchard, who plays for the Celtics right now. He's just a genius when it comes to training. And he brought me in to work with Alan Crabb at the time, who's a great friend of mine. He's out of the NBA now, but he played for the Portland Trailblazers at the time. And we worked together, and that was my first big client to where I was like, oh, that really unlocks something in my brain. Like people will pay high amounts of money just to talk to me if I can give them information to help them improve, help them perform better, and help them make more money in the long run.
Yeah, no kidding. And so that's kind of what sparked the coaching business, books speaking type model for you, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this
How
was in uh-huh.
I was about to say, how long ago was that?
This was in 2016.
Okay.
So this it wasn't like flooded like it is now before like the Brandon Burchards told everyone they were expert and everyone's talking about shit and don't know what they're talking about. Um, but that's not even to hate on people because at that time I didn't know what I talked about. I was just a voracious reader and then started to practice what I read on my patients
Yeah.
and then develop a pattern. And that was in 2016. And then everything fell for me, man, because I thought I was going to be able to get 10,000 a month clients and I wasn't.
Yeah.
And one thing about professional athletes is they all have mental coaches, but they're not going to tell you they have mental coaches because they're the guy, right? I'm
Mm,
LeBron. I'm the best ever. I didn't need a guy to help build my brain. I'm Kobe. I'm the best ever. I didn't need a guy to help me get my mind right. So that business wasn't indwellingly profitable. It didn't catch fire. And so
the leads weren't
um,
coming in like they were on the health business.
it wasn't coming in like it was on the health business. I didn't know that how to generate leads because I never had to learn. And so then, took a big dip in money making and met my next mentor. His name was Ed Rush. He's actually a fighter pilot, and he taught me how to do the expert business properly, how to get speaking. I did two TED Talks, and then I added 80K to 100K of speaking to my income. And then I started to coach CEOs on how to speak, how to write books, and how to build their brand in that aspect.
Tell me about the book writing process for you, man. You have six different books now that are all number one bestsellers.
Yeah.
How do you ideate? Like, how do you know that I think this is a book that is timely, that I can write, that people will read, and that can actually provide some sort of result for my business as well?
It's I wish I could say I had like a formula, but it's more like I get this notion and then a big like inspiration feeling
Hmm.
towards the idea. So my next book is going to be Opportunity on Demand. And I was literally just laying in the bed and I said, like, Roy, what is it, the sauce that you have? Because I have no college degree. And that's one of the things that always gave me imposter syndrome. I remember I was speaking at Stanford and I'm looking at the pamphlet and it's like doctorate, like all these people with high level degrees. And it's just like my name, author. And I was like, what is it that you have? How are you getting TED Talks? How did you buy a $2 million business with no money? And then I realized, like, bro, you're the king at finessing. Like, you could just finesse shit. Like, you have confidence and you could just talk your way to get people to like you. And I was like, oh, people can't communicate on that level right now, especially in today. You need to write a book on that. And then I thought of what are you doing with your communication? I'm manufacturing opportunity, right? And so that came to me, and I'm like, okay, I'll write it. And I write a book in a day. I sit down and I do a little nicotine, grab my coffee.
Wait,
Uh,
what's your nicotine of choice?
Probably hookah, and don't smoke hookah is bad for you. But if I'm working, I'll chew gum, or maybe a Zenny bomb will work too.
I was gonna say
Perhaps.
I'm loaded up on Zins right now, bro. This is like I think this is my 28th interview this week
uh,
alone. So yeah, there's without the caffeine and a little bit of nicotine bump, it's difficult to stay that focused for that long.
you get locked in, man. And so I write these books, and I launch them. I'm one of those guys who thinks you should get something 80, 85%, then put it out, and then you make it perfect, because you can't get it perfect without feedback anyway.
Hmm.
And so after writing so many books, I just know the process. But I wish I had a better formula for you. It's really just my thought process of, is this valuable? Fuck it, let's make it. Let's put it out.
Jump off the cliff and build the plane on the way down, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm good at that. Not everyone should be doing that. My conative is fast start. I don't know if you guys took the Kobe index, but I'm a fast start. So I'm always like new ideas, get it done, get it done.
Yeah.
Oh, we made it. Next thing.
Tell me a little bit more about this $2 million business that you acquired. The more I'm studying this stuff, man, the more I am becoming just a major fan, even for people that are relatively green to owning a
Yeah.
business or they don't have a ton of experience. This is one that is more and more intriguing to me. The more like you could lose a lot doing something like this, especially if you have
Yeah.
no prior business experience. I like gurus always make it sound easier than it is. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of M&A kind of gurus that have popped up in the last couple, maybe 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
And the message that they preach is basically like, just buy a cash flowing business and it's already making money. And it's like, okay, that sounds great. But it is that easy for somebody who knows how to operate a business. But
Yeah.
for somebody who has zero experience, you could end up losing your ass in it. So I want to be careful when I say this. I highly recommend this because if you're a beginner, there's always risk with anything. But
Yeah.
this is one that's quickly growing to be top of mind for me when it comes to like recommending what people should be doing or how people should be thinking. So you've started a couple of businesses from scratch. What made you buy this company?
So I just saw Dan Pina on the internet, right? And then I was able to meet his best student ever, a guy by the name of Bruce Whipple. I bought his course. And one thing Dan always says is, I put the information free on the internet. You don't have to come to my course. I can assimilate information like a mug. I read everything, I learned everything, and Bruce taught me the system. So this is Dan's system. Travis, when I tell you it's as easy as they say, it's easier. It is easy. The only issue is it's very laggy result. It's a long sales funnel. It's an easy sales funnel, but I'm talking to business owners that I've emailed 2 years ago still.
Mm.
And every day I'm emailing 1,000 businesses. It's just volume, volume, volume. And if you're worried about losing money, you just got to know your numbers. Here's a great book on this, Harvard Business Review on how to buy a small business. If you read this thing, you will know exactly what to do. Now, there are some secrets in buying it for no money, like I did, and that's learning creative finance. And that would take a long time to teach you guys. But essentially, I emailed thousands of businesses. I'm in healthcare, so I went with healthcare, right? Um, Before that, I did get a chairman and I gave him equity, so I didn't have to pay him no money. I have a CFO, gave him equity, didn't have to pay him no money. That chairman will keep me from fucking up. He's been in healthcare for 30 years. Simple outreach, talked to a bunch of chairmen on LinkedIn, and I got him to help me. And all he does is tell me yes, no, what to look for. And so a business in Wisconsin reached back and he said, yeah, I want to sell. And from there, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to ask this guy, can I buy his business for no money? And that was a little nerve-wracking. But like Dan says, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I literally said it in a way to where I'm not saying, hey, can I just take your business? I said, hey, here's the deal. I sent him a LOI, a letter of intent. And in the letter of intent, the structure was, we're going to pay you We're going to turn you into the bank essentially, and we're going to pay you over a course of 10 years from the money already in your business. And he's done with it. He was done with it. He's not going to be able to sell it. His business is going to go to probate. He's 68 years old. He would rather retire by taking 30% of what he was making and not have to work, besides the 1 year he has to stay with us.
Yeah.
And then I take the other 70% and it's all upside. I literally put um 90,000 minus whatever, minus 30% of that into my income from buying that business. And all I had to do is just talk to the guy.
What's the business and what's the model?
It's a home health business. The model is they send CNAs into the house to take care of people. So people who are paraplegic, people who are old. The only issue with the business is the churn rate for employees is sickening because it's really, really hard to do. It's hard work taking care of older people. But as baby boomers get older, not only are these businesses selling, but home health, skilled nursing, anything that has to do with health is gonna boom. And here's the key, Travis. Healthcare is extremely fragmented, which means nobody has a monopoly on it. There's a whole bunch of different like people just owning their own thing. There's nobody who owns it all.
Mm. Yes, well, that leaves a bunch of opportunity then for people like
Exactly.
you to go in and buy those businesses. Yeah, because there's some sectors that just get taken over by private equity firms that just have way more money than me and you to play with, and they're rolling up 75% of that industry in a decade. And it's like, okay, well, there's maybe a ton of competition in that vertical, but if you can find one that's somewhat fragmented, something that you have some sort of prior expertise in or knowledge on, or you have a partner that does have that knowledge in that business, then this can be a really, really great way to get in and start earning money, because it eliminates a lot of the risk of starting a business from scratch, which is that you don't know anything. When you're starting a
Exactly.
business from scratch, like you don't know, you think you're solving this problem, but then you dig in a little bit and you find out that, oh, that wasn't actually the problem that I'm solving. I'm actually solving this problem, or this is the problem that they actually care about more than this problem. And then now I figured out the problem. Now I got to build a solution for that problem. But this solution that I thought was going to work, that's not a good solution. Now we have to figure out a new solution. Like, all the ideation phase has been done. These
Yep.
businesses have been
It's
around for 12 years, 16 years, 7 years, 22 years. They already
and
have a book of business. They already have clientele. They already have expenses. They already have employees. They already have books done. Like, they already have so many of these things that would take you 2, 3 years sometimes as a startup to be able to get to that point. And you can acquire it from them with zero cash out of pocket and pay them out of the profits from the business, so that there's still meat left on the bone for you to be able to take a little bit of money home at the end of the day.
can I give a secret, Travis? I'm
Please.
gonna drop this because nobody drops this. I'm gonna drop this on your podcast. If they do not want to give you their business with seller's finance, you could do an SBA loan. And listen to this, all SBA loans are secured by the US government up to $5 million. And I'm hoping Big Daddy Trump makes it 10 million because he was going to do that last time. Hope he does it again, inshallah. Um, Up to $5 million. And if you buy a business that's doing 2 million, you might be able to buy it for 5 million. If they're doing a million, you might be able to buy it for 5 million. And the bank will be like, "Oh, can we?" They'll fugaze you around. They don't underwrite you, so your credit doesn't matter. So they underwrite the business. As long as the cash flow is there, the bank can secure that loan. And if they mess with you, go to another bank because it's not even their money. It's the US government's money. It's backed by the US government. Hey, can we use your house as collateral? No, bye. Go
Yeah.
to the next one.
The
It's in the
SBA.
SBA statute.
Yep. And then you can get creative with a combination of all of those things. If somebody's forced, like if it's a really, really strong business and they're forcing you to put a down payment, okay. But you can, if you don't want to use your own cash, then you can bring in a partner/investor who's just a silent partner to put some money in the business. They just want a better return than the S&P is going to give them. So you go, okay, well, how about you take 20% equity in the business? You cover the cost to get into the business. We finance the rest, but all of the debt service is taken care of from the profit that's already inside of the business.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's
And
all
then
you need to make sure you
sometimes,
get to.
man, like sometimes it's just it's as building the enterprise value in the business or increasing the cash flow in the business sometimes is as simple as just bringing it into the 21st century.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like some of these businesses, like you said, a business that's been run by a 68-year-old person who's been running it for 25 years, they may not have a website. They may not
Yep.
have social media. They may not have a Yelp page. They may not have Google reviews. They might have just started this thing before any of that stuff was around and never, cared enough to get into that world because they didn't need to because they built the business before any of this stuff was like the main thing that was driving business growth. So sometimes it's as easy as just using the things that you already know, which people tend to underrate what they already know. But if you're a young person, you understand how the online world works just by the nature of being a young person, just because you grew up with the technology. So, you might be thinking that, oh, I don't have much to bring to the table, but okay, do you know how Yelp works? Are you on Instagram? Have you
Yep.
ever scrolled on TikTok? Like, how these things work. Like, stop downplaying your knowledge and
Yeah.
step into the game and realize that you have some value to bring to the table and you have some value that you can plug into that business. And if you have some gaps, which we all do, then fill the gaps with other people who are really smart. You don't have to do the whole thing by yourself.
Yeah. 1,000%. You nailed it.
What are you looking at these days, Roy? Are there other businesses you're looking to acquire? Are you spending the majority of your time into this healthcare business that you did acquire? Are you spending more time writing books, speaking? Tell me about what your schedule looks like and what your focus is.
So the key when you buy these businesses, you don't want to work in them. You want to work on them. So we put the manager in place of running that business. My plan is to buy more. I want to buy 10 of them, then I'll sell them, and then I'll move to Porto, Portugal, and probably just live with my family, build my family. That's my key. That's my future. Um, Writing books is my passion. Sharing ideas that help people make more money or improve their lives is just my passion. So I will always speak on stages all around the world. If you have a stage, if you bring me in, I'll rock it. I just love doing it. I love writing. So the roll up is is my exit strategy, and then helping people with whatever I learn, or even if I'm a fuck up and you got to learn from my fuck ups, that too. I just love helping people and just want to do it at a billion amount of people scale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it, dude. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show. Let's move into the last segment, something I like to call the random round, just quick random questions, quick random answers, sponsored by High Level. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, and you could use an all-in-one CRM marketing software solution, I highly recommend checking out High Level. I've used a ton of these different services in the past and kept finding myself coming back to High Level. So I reached out. We developed a partnership just because I like the product that much. So go highlevel.com/Travis. You can pick up a 30-day free trial to try it for yourself. That's go highlevel.com/Travis. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
What profession other than your own do you think that it would have been fun to master?
Ooh, fighting.
If you could sit on a park bench with someone, past or present, and chat for an hour, who would it be?
Jesus.
How do you like to consume information best? Books, audiobooks, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos?
One on one talking.
What is your go-to pump up song?
Ooh, right now it's San Francisco by Dala.
What are you not very good at?
I'm not good at being humble. I'm good at everything.
Love it, bro. As we get everything wrapped up here, Roy, where can people go to get more from you?
Reach out if you hit me up on Instagram, Roy ROY_red REDD, and just say Travis. I will give you anything for free. I'm going to be talking about this M&A stuff in my community. I'll let you in the community for free. I'll send you books for free. I don't need to sell you anything. That's the dope part about doing the business stuff as well, is, I don't need to sell you anything. And I can give it for free and just truly help.
At Roy_red, REDD, red with two D's. Go check out some of the stuff that Roy's putting out. Pick up a copy of one of his many books that he has available for you. Roy, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Everybody else listening, remember, money only solves your money problems, but it is a little bit easier to solve the rest of your problems if you got some money in the bank. So let's solve that problem first here on the Travis Makes Money podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch you next time. Peace out.